That. Yes. I can't remember how to pin a comment on Instagram. Oh, there we go. Tap on it. That's how. Let me know what it sounds like on Instagram because I got my phone on my laptop. Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, and good day to you. Thank you for tuning in, for joining me for this quick, short broadcast. It's about that time. What time is it? It's time to dream a bigger dream. It's time to hold visions. It's time to catch a vision. Who am I? I am Ade. I am Ademola Anifowoshe, the son of Alimi Anifowoshe and the son of Esther Anifowoshe, the grandson of Alice Osho and grandson of Moses Osho, the grandson of Idris Anifowoshe and the grandson. That's right, and the grandson of Habibat Anifowoshe. That's right, Christine. It's Ade time. I like that. It's Ade time. Woo-wee. Beautiful people. How are you hanging? How are you holding up? How are you dancing with life? How are you shaping and creating? Well, life is definitely calling visionaries and calling change agents. And you are it. If you're listening, you're a visionary and you're a change agent. If you ain't feeling like it, good. Because then your ego can get in the way. So for the next few days up until the last broadcast I would do during the week, in preparation for representing our ancestors, representing our stories, will be Friday. So every day, well, actually no, I'll be here. I'm here now, right? And then tomorrow I have my podcast with my brother friend Masanko Banda. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to talk about the healing power of stories. The healing power of your story, the healing power of storytelling. There's so much power in telling stories. I don't want to say too much about that, but I'll just say this. Life is made up of stories. Life is a never-ending story. And the story that is the loudest oftentimes moves the masses. What's your story? What story do you have to move the masses so we can see things differently? But I'll be here Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, as far as I know, unless that changes. But right now, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We're preparing for representing our ancestors, representing our stories, part 3, Saturday, June 19th. How can I forget? June 19th, 2021, Juneteenth. It's time to be free. Day before Father's Day. So it's a way to really put action behind what we know to be true. And so representing our ancestors, representing our stories. As I said, this is part 3. We started off with doing grief work for part 1. And part 2, we got together to tell a new story about who we are, a new story about what we want to see in the world. Now, before I go too deep in that, let me tell you what representing our ancestors, representing our stories is about. For those of you who haven't heard it before, and those of you who've heard it, but you forgot, you're like, oh yeah, that event that Ade is doing. What is it? That ancestor thing? So, I'm going to see if I can squeeze this and keep it real short because I got to jump in another Zoom call in a few minutes, which actually started about, a few minutes ago. Midnight for me, 7 p.m. Eastern. Anywho, representing our ancestors, representing our stories, came about after the killing of George Floyd and all the protests in America and the rest of the world. And we were in a gathering, an interplay gathering, and people were sharing. We had an affinity group. So you had the white bodies meet in their group, and people in the brown body, everybody's brown. Forget all that black, brown, and red and green, yellow crap, because that's what it is. Crap. It's either you're pale or you're brown. Like, I'm the leader of the Browns, as you can see. So the BIPOC community got together, BIPOC, Black Indigenous People of Color. Google it. And in the group, people were sharing what it was like for them, how they're feeling, how they're navigating, all that came with what was going on, watching a public lynching. And it's nothing new. It was just a time, something about that time where hearts and souls and minds were ready to say, enough of this bullshit. Public lynching has been happening, it's been happening for a long time. For the past few years, 10 years. How many people have been snuffed out for selling cigarettes? People, black people, been shot for running with their back to the police officers and representing our ancestors. So in that gathering, people were sharing what they were feeling and dealing with. And I was so, my heart. I mean, I was already feeling what I was feeling. And I remember during and after the session, I was asking, how can I be of service? How can I support? Because some of you may have heard me say this. I'm a Nigerian man born in the UK, conceived, I'm a Nigerian man conceived in Germany, born in the UK, and feel more at home in Atlanta, Georgia. America, but Atlanta, Georgia itself. Something about Atlanta that just, there's a memory there that goes deeper than my intellect can come up with answers. So being in the United Kingdom, watching that, I mean, I was feeling what I was feeling, what most people were feeling about what they saw, what I saw. So I went to bed, and I have this practice where, if I want to know an answer, if I'm dealing with something, if I need clarity, if I just need guidance, I often would ask a question before going to sleep. I'm asking spirit. I'm asking my ancestors. I'm asking my spirit guide, the wisdom keepers, all of them. They're higher vibrational beings that are not in the body. And if the ones in the body want to respond, so be it. I don't care, as long as I get my answer. So I ask the question. I do that quite often, and it's a practice now. It's a spiritual practice. If you want to try it, you need my permission. No, I'm kidding. Try it before you go to bed. Whatever you're dealing with, whether it's finances, whether it's relationship, whether it's your profession, whether you're just wanting to find your way, your issues with parenting, trying to decide which insurance company to sign up with, trying to find out if should I really do cryptocurrency or not. Maybe you need answers about what is cryptocurrency. I went on Google. So you can ask whatever you want, because the divine is the divine intelligence. The divine knows all things. So when we go into that sleep state, when the conscious mind is asleep, we're open to so much more. So try it. Yes, I miss you too, my dear sister, Miss Hillside and all the folks. If I was there anyway, we won't be in Hillside. We'll be on Hillside on Zoom. So I said, what can I do? Not so much what is mine to do, but I wanted to contribute. I wanted to do something, more so because of the people that I interacted with and what they were going through. How can I support them? I was actually thinking of my friends that were in this group with me. How can I support them? I asked, went to bed. Another tip, when you ask, don't get overly like, oh my God, I hope I get the right answer. Oh my God, I hope it. No, just ask the question. If you want, you can repeat it. Oftentimes I would say, what do I need to know? Please reveal it to me in my dream or when I wake up. What do I need to do about this? What do I need to do about moving? What do I need to do? Just whatever, just be as specific as you need to be as generous as you need to be, and just let it go. Let it go. So I went to bed, and the answers that come in that process, I call it dream vision. So my dream vision, what I got was this, representing our ancestors, representing our stories. I got everything I needed, what it's for, why we're doing it, the intent, how to go about doing it. And of course, it's grown because the more I talk to people, somebody else tells me something that makes me go, yeah, that's a great idea. And there's so much that I can tell you, but that's the short version of it, how it came about. And it was clear that it was supposed to be a 3-part series. And this is not the end of it. This is the first go around. There's going to be another one. And I'm listening for how that's going to be. I haven't actually asked what it needs to look like because we're still in the middle of this. So I'm patient. There is a possibility of it being a production where you actually, yeah. Anyway, let's keep that in the wrap for now. Don't say too much. We often talk about our ancestors, whether in America or whether in the UK, particularly in the Western world, maybe even in Brazil, South America, Central America, different places. We talk about our ancestors, and we tend to focus on their struggle. We tend to focus on their pain. You hear a lot more about that. We don't often hear their stories of what they invented. Yeah, during the Black History Month, you see things. But I'm talking about your ancestors. What do you know about your ancestors? When you think of your ancestors, do you feel proud? Do you feel connected? Do you feel like, I don't know my ancestors, so I can't connect with my ancestors? Do you just feel like, I know they're there, but what can they do for me? They're dead. If it wasn't for your ancestors, you won't be here. So let's just start there. Your ancestors passed life on to you. All right, IG, I'm going to move you because I want to read this comment. Let's see. Hopefully the buzz from the laptop is not too loud. Renee said, I live in Alma, Georgia. Where is that? I've never heard of Alma, Georgia. Which part? It's not south, I don't think. How close is it to Atlanta? Renee said, my ancestors are calling to me, and frankly, I was surprised. She said, grateful. Now, tell me why you were surprised. I'm curious to hear why you were surprised that your ancestors. This could really, this broadcast is supposed to be like 15 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to try and keep it as under 30 minutes, or no more than 30 minutes. I am hoping. I love that. And I'm curious to say why you were surprised at your ancestors. It's about 3 hours from Atlanta. Wow, okay. Which part? 85, 75? I've never heard of Alma, Georgia. I have now. When you think about your ancestors, what comes up for you? I gotta show this to you because it's important, especially for those of you who are watching the broadcast for the first time. So Renee said the reason she was surprised. Okay, I'm going to ask you another question in a minute. Reason she said I grew up in grew up Lutheran. Okay, somehow I thought you said I grew up in Lithuania, and they were thinking, but she said she lives in Alma. But anyway, I'm doing too much in my head. I grew up Lutheran on a farm in Missouri, weird little town. Big men with burly red hair yelling prior to battles. Okay, keep talking. I want to hear more about it. This is fun. This is exciting. I want to share this with you because it's important. I'll be back there in the chat room. And let me flash, well, actually, before I flash it, let me give you a backstory. So the whole thing about your ancestors, why is it important to reconnect? And we're talking about calling on visionaries, calling change agents. I'm going somewhere with this. To ignore your ancestors is literally to ignore your existence. The fullness of your existence, let me say it that way. To feel like you don't have a disconnect, to feel like you don't have a connection to your ancestors, it's also can cause you to feel disconnected from yourself. Can you imagine a branch saying, I don't know nothing about my roots. I don't even know if I'm connected to my roots. Literally, your roots. Those roots sustain you. Those roots, your roots, gives you life. Gave you life. Gives you life and gave you life. Those roots are encoded in your DNA. Those roots are encoded in your genes, in your chromosomes, in your body, in your blood, in your bones. You are literally your ancestors. You are the selfie of your ancestors. If you want to know what your ancestors look like, all of them, they look like you. They look like you. All right. So for those who haven't seen this, let me flash this here. What's going on with my mouse? There we go. I like how that came about. So let me move this here for a minute, IG. I'm coming back to your comment. So for those of you like on IG who are not seeing the screen, you've heard, if you haven't heard me say this, this is a graphic that I use in all the sessions. And tracking down the numbers of people who came before you. So you think of yourself, right? For you to be here today, you needed your mom and dad, right? Now, before you start saying, I don't have a dad, I don't have a mom. Stop it. You do. They may not be in your life, but you do. Okay? Then your parents, they have parents, right? Your grandparents. Then there's your great grandparents. So you keep going back, go back 7 generations. Just you now, just you. If you go back 7 generations, you have 128 people who got together, came together, no pun intended, for you to be alive today. The imprint of all those people lives in you. Now let's jump forward because I don't want to do it. I'm not doing a lecture and I'm not doing part 3 today. If you go back 12 generations, you have 4,096 people that got together for you to be here. You are the embodiment of 4,096 people. If you only go back 12 generations, if you go back 20 generations, just over 1 million people came together for just you, one soul, you, to be alive today. Just think about that. Their stories, their visions, their dreams, their laughter, their joys, their pain, their struggles, their whatever, you name it, was passed on to you. Now you might say, I don't want their struggle, I only want their vision. Well, if you're talking about wholeness, it is about all of it. The pain and the pleasure, the struggle and the sacredness of life is all part of the wholeness. You can't you can say, I want to be in love, I want to know love, and be picky about your experiences. To know love, to experience love, is to make room for it all. Just chew on that for a minute. Let me read the chat room. So, Renee said she had a Kundalini awakening. So are you saying you had a Kundalini awakening when your ancestors were calling out to you and that's how you know, and were you surprised? Why are you surprised? You said there were big men with curly red hair yelling prior to battle. Yeah, pay attention to them. Listen to them. No matter what you discover about your ancestors, it's worth bringing your awareness to them, to it, to the experience, to what you know and what you don't know. Because what you don't know intellectually, what you don't know consciously, you know unconsciously. So representing our ancestors, representing our stories, particularly this first go around, is for people of African descent. Because there's some things we need to talk about. There's some things we need to heal about. There's some things we need to grieve about. There's some things we need to create about. There's some things we need to vision about. And in that space, we get to remember that we are not victims. We're healers. We're artists. We're change agents. We're visionaries. We are powerful. We have something to release. Something in us is seeking and wants to be birthed through and as us. And the experiences that we've gone through, all of it, is what makes us, qualifies us to catch a new vision. The vision is not about what's happening now. The vision is it's in a deeper tomorrow. It's in the inner tomorrow. When you close your eyes and you listen for the vision and you see with insight, you go from eyesight to insight and you allow a new information to come in. That's what we're doing on Saturday, June 19th, 2021. Go to bit.ly/represent vision, bit.ly/represent vision. Go register, represent the vision, say yes. We are living in such an interesting place. All of us that are alive right now, all of us, not just people of African descent. What you're not going to hear on the television, because there's no way to prove it. And people think if you can't prove it, if scientists haven't said anything about it, then it's not true. Actually, the fact that scientists haven't proven it is more reason to pay attention. Scientists are only telling us about things that already exist. Scientists don't make shit up. They reveal what was already there. So they try, they research, they experiment. Like, oh yeah, it's true, it's there. But some of us feel like if scientists don't say it's there, then it doesn't exist. What's breathing you? The breath that is having its way with you right now. Do you need scientists to tell you you have breath? You can say, oh, well, I can feel it. But yes, what is breathing you? You can say God. What is God? Who is God? Is God out there pushing buttons for every human being to make sure that everybody is breathing at the right time? There is a power and a presence that is beyond definition. It's so much more. It's deep. It's powerful. And your ancestors are all interconnected with that power. And if you take time to listen to them, they will tell you which way to go, because they live in the invisible realm in you. That's the space where creativity lies, in that invisible realm. So when you pay attention to your ancestors, you're connected to the invisible realm. And for Black people, African descent people, wherever you are in the world, in the diaspora, or in Africa, the motherland, I want to say it's time to wake up, but it's being time, like they say. But this is time to really catch a new vision, a vision for a new generation. Like, what is seeking to be birthed through me, through us? What wants to happen? What idea, what gift do I have that wants to reveal itself, that can add to the healing and the transformation of humanity and the supremacist institutions, organizations that are all about separation? What do I have? What wants to be birthed through me? What is in me that I know is the perfect antidote for all the BS that's happening in the world? Together, we're going to create the dream, we're going to create the vision, and we're going to challenge ourselves to live the vision on a daily basis. The vision is in a deeper tomorrow. And when the vision pulls you, as Michael Beckwith would say, pain pushes until vision pulls. We've been pushed by pain. Now is the right time to be pulled by a vision. One thing I wanted to say, but I didn't say earlier, I think I went there and then I went somewhere else. We are living in the middle right now. We're living in the middle. We're living in the middle and between, between a world, a way of being that's ending, as well as a new world being created. So there's still a part of us that is in connection to what life used to be, that reality. But yet we know we can't go back to it. We're moving forward. We're developing. We're evolving. We're transforming. And a new world is being birthed. But we don't quite see the picture. We know something is there like a mountain. We can kind of see the shade, but it looks kind of foggy, but not very clear because it's too sunny. But we have to keep moving forward, and what's going to give us the vision is the insight. We have to see with insight so we can have a clearer vision. Join us, bit.ly/represent vision, represent vision, whatever works for you. I like represent vision. Sign up, be there early, sign up early. Tickets, I've extended it. Tickets will close on the day of, but 10 after. After that, you can't get in because some people kind of wait till the last minute. I don't know why. Sign up. Let me see what's in the chat room. Renee said, as I wake up to more of truth and see more, my ancestors are sharing with me. I respect what you are doing very much. Oh, thank you. My dear Aries sister, Rev, she said, whoop, whoop. And Renee said, and I go to a Black Pentecostal church in Perth. Yes, I know that's an experience for you. There's something about, how do I want to say this? There's something about how we show up, those of us who have a deep connection to the motherland. We're all from the same place. But those of us who are melanated, like this, I got a lot more. I got enough to share. It's like being closer to the rhythm of the sacredness of the motherland, Africa. Their heartbeat. And sometimes some of the things that we're going through and growing through and the suffering and the pain is because we ain't saying yes. And sometimes we think saying yes means when I say yes, then things will be easy or I won't have any challenges. Not so. Sometimes when you say yes, things might get more intense. And speaking of intense, we're living right now. This, Mercury's retrograding. There's a lot going on astrologically. And a lot of us are going through some intense experience. There's nothing wrong. We have created this collectively. We've been doing the work. We've been visioning. We've been praying. We've been affirming. We've been doing the treatments. We've been meditating. Hey, Danielle, nice to see you. We've been meditating. We've been praying. We've been having positive thoughts. We've been talking about we want a world that works for everyone. We've been holding the high watch. We've been raising our vibration, changing diets, doing exercises, all sorts of exercises to align the body so that the mind, body, and spirit could be one. What do you think is going to happen? You got to clear all the other things that's unlike that. So right now, what we're experiencing, you can say, oh, it's because Mercury is retrograding. Yeah, you can say that, but we're not separated from the planets. We're all cleaning out. Carly is in the house. I got you this time. We are all going through and growing through this process. And it shows up in different ways. And oftentimes it can show up in ways that distracts us through the news. That's one way you get distracted. But we want to go behind what is happening. Whether there's a disagreement with a friend, I can talk about that. Whether people in your life are doing things that you don't understand. Whether it looks like things are just breaking down. Whether it's financial challenges. It's so much more than finance. And when we pray for abundance, oftentimes when we say I'm praying for more abundance, we often limit it to money. But abundance is so much more than that. Abundance is perfect health. It's well-being. It's peace of mind. Your family members being healthy and whole. Abundance is being able to go out and look at the trees. If you have trees around you, look around you. Like, oh, look at all this abundance. Abundance is knowing that you can think a new thought, that you can choose again. Abundance is to know that there are beings in the invisible realm that are supporting you, and God, the divine, this power, this presence always broadcasting. bit.ly/represent vision, represent vision, bit.ly represent vision. Sign up, join us this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time. Part 3, Masanko Band is going to join me. Queen Michelle is going to be there, and we're cooking up some stew. What's your vision? What's your vision? This is what I'm going to leave you with. It's 30 minutes already. What is your vision for your life? What is the vision for your family? What's your vision for your family? What's your vision for humanity? And what's your vision? Let me say it this way. What's your ancestral vision? Think about that. What is the vision of your ancestors? Marinate on that. Chew on that. And come back tomorrow and tell me. Actually, come back tomorrow and tell me. Join us on Saturday, June 19th, 2021. bit.ly/2020. No. bit.ly/represent vision. I'm out of here. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. I won't be here tomorrow night, but I will be here for my podcast, 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern. My brother Masanko Banda is going to join me. We're talking about the healing power of storytelling, how you can heal yourself through storytelling. Stories matter. And it's important to make sure that you're listening to stories that honor and celebrate and affirm who you are. There's so many stories out there. Delete. I love you. Once again, I bless you. I appreciate you and I thank God for you. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, those of you who are watching this in the archive. And see you tomorrow on Being You, the podcast. Peace and blessings.